Hello, so this is going to be a pack with me but my carry-on luggage video. Basically, this is my luggage for my carry-on. I got this out of Accessorize. It's wonderful. It's like a little backpack, but it has handles on the top and then school bags, backpacks on the back. Very, very useful, very, very big, and equally doesn't look too unstylish, I feel. So if you would like to see what is packed in here and what I take on the plane with me and what I need, then please keep watching. Right, we're now moving on to hand luggage. Now I know some holiday companies or flight companies will allow you to take on a carry-on kind of cabin bag plus a handbag. I personally this time I'm not allowed that. I'm only allowed one bag. As I said earlier, I could take on a small cabin bag size suitcase, but I much prefer just to take a little kind of hold-all slash backpack. This is from Accessorize. I got it last year. I don't know if it will still be available. I'm pretty sure it went into the sale, but they do lots of wonderful kind of bags very similar to this, and they just changed the theme of them or the colours on them quite a lot. It has two handles at the top, so it means I can carry it like that, but also has two straps on the back, so I can wear it like a school bag. It has lots of pockets, top zipper here, this big flap, two on the side, plus on the inside there is a big one right down the back as well. Now when I went to Australia I did use this, and I did manage to take my laptop in it because obviously it was a long flight and I wanted to be able to take my laptop and do things on the plane. But as I said, this is only going to be a 3-hour flight, 3 and a bit hours, so I'll show you what I take in my bag. I usually pack a kind of small essentials bag because even though it is only a 3.5-hour flight, I am leaving at about I have to be at the airport at 5:30. I think my flight leaves about 7:30, 20 to 8. So I like to have this so that when I get off the plane I feel a bit fresher because I will be up really, really early in the morning. Now in this part here there is no liquids. This is my liquids for the flight. Now in here I have a small bottle of hypo stop juice. This is in case I have a hypo, a low blood sugar. I need to have this on me. I know on flights you can quite easily ask for a drink as well, but just in case while you're waiting you might be at the end of the queue where the trolley dollies are, so I have to have that on me. I also have a small hand gel. I think this one is cherry from Mercy Handy. I think these are in Superdrug, I want to say. I also have a small deodorant because you're getting off the plane, you'll be feeling a bit so I have a small deodorant as well just to spruce up a little bit. I have my glossybalm.com. This is just the original one, no fancy flavours. I have a hand cream from L'Occitane. This is the Roses Eren one. I have a mini Jurlique rose water spray. The only problem with this is a glass bottle, but it is the smallest bottle I have for rose spray and it works really well, so I still continue to take it in my hand luggage. I have an Espa overnight mask. Now, yes, it is an overnight mask, but if you're going on a plane, I quite like putting this on all over just while you're on the plane. I won't put any makeup on in the morning before we get to the airport, so when I get on the plane, I'll just put this on. I also have in my bigger bag my eye patches from Patchology, so I will put on the mask and then wear a set of these. I have 2 of these, so one for the flight home and one for going. And lastly, I have a Pep Start from Clinique for eye cream as well, because sometimes I like to put that on before I put the little eye masks on. I have some cotton pads there as well for the rose spray because I don't like spritzing it in front of everybody. I'll spray it on the cotton pads and wipe it on my face. I have a small sachet of the Organi Factor 50 sun cream. This is for my face before I get off of the plane. I will be relatively covered up getting off the plane, so my body won't be too much of a problem till I get to the hotel, but my face might be. So I have a Factor 50 sachet here for that. And then I have a miniature of the Chloe perfume, just again to feel a little bit fresher. And as you can see, this bag is very small. This is definitely smaller than what you are allowed, and it is a seal bag, so this will be no problem getting through the security or anything like that at Glasgow Airport. This here, the Glucoboost juice, now it is smaller than 100 ml, it's not a problem as long as it's in this bag. I have a big bag here full of my medical side of things. It depends on what airport you go to. Sometimes I put that in there, and because it's all medicine stuff together, they don't mind. Sometimes they'll ask me to take it out and put it into a clear bag, so for this reason I've just popped it in there in case. But I also have insulin in vials. So this is my insulin. I'm going a bit on a tangent here, but don't worry, I'll come back to the pink bag in a minute. So my insulin is in a small 10ml vial, but as you can see, it is most definitely a liquid. It is still sealed. So what I will do is I will get rid of the cardboard box and I will put that into this bag, but there may be a likelihood they will ask me to put it in my liquid bag. It really just depends on the airport, depends on the person checking your bag. Sometimes if they just see all the medical stuff, they really don't bother. So as I said, in the pink bag there are 2 Patchology eye masks. I also take this little handy dandy travel mirror. Now I don't think there'll be any need for me to need it. We're going to a pretty jazzy resort place hotel, so I don't think there'll be any need for me to need it. But sometimes the mirror you get in your hotel really isn't that good, so it's good to have one, and this one stands up as well. So you can either hold it like that or stand it up. It's very, very useful. I then have a little kind of purse, which basically in it has some earplugs. Again, this isn't a massively long flight, but you don't know what the sleeping situation will be like once you get to your hotel. So sometimes it's useful to have that. And otherwise I have hair ties and the little clear elastics and some Kirby grips in there just in case. I also have an eye mask. Again, not a long flight. I probably definitely will not be using this. But this bag I usually just keep packed for holidays. So this was in here anyway. And again, you don't know what the sleeping situation will be like in your hotel. Maybe this will be required. I don't know. And lastly, this is all I'm taking for makeup when getting off of the plane. I have, again, it's a very similar bag to this one, but this has no liquids in it. Just creams, and they're like solid balm creams, so they don't usually count as a liquid. They certainly don't say 10ml or anything on it. It's like grams that they're counted in. So I have my Glossy Stretch Concealer just to help me freshen up a little bit and feel a little bit more awake, but I do not have any foundation, base, etc. I will just put on my Factor 50. I then have the Sleek Whimsical Wonderland blush stick, which I've been loving recently. So that is also there, and again, in a stick, very useful. I also have the Burt's Bees highlighter in a stick. And I have some glossy boy brow, and I have a very small mascara wand. Now you say, mascara wand, why do you have a mascara wand? But I have just had my eyelashes LVL'd, essentially, like tinted and curled, and I'm not actually feeling the need to wear mascara that often. I certainly won't be popping it on when I get off the plane in a desperate rush. I'll just brush through my I'll just brush through my lashes and then I'll be on my way. So that is everything in the pink bag. And these little bags from Glossy, I'm sure you've seen a million videos with them in them, but they are actually really, really useful for if you're going on holiday or traveling, because they're kind of bubble wrapped. So that will go in here. I then have this little, I don't know if it's a cosmetics bag or a makeup bag. I think I got it out of Home Bargains or something. And in it has a pack of cards in case. I also have my like travel adapters type things. I have an extra memory card in there. I have my tripod for my camera. I have a kind of power bank type setup. I have my phone charger, which I won't, it's here just now for the sake of this video, but I will charge my phone tonight and hopefully not forget it tomorrow. So that's all kind of, I suppose, technological stuff that I need to have. So this here is my last kind of packing cube. I have another couple spare, but this is the one I usually use and keep packed for holidays. I just have to swap out medicines if it's, you know, went out of date and stuff like that. So in here I have my giving sets and reservoirs for my insulin pump. I take 5, I'm only going away for a week. I probably will only use 2 or 3. I change my insulin pump every kind of 2 to 3 days. So it's unlikely that I will use all of these, but sometimes these stop working. Sometimes you insert one wrong, so it's always good to have spares and backups. And I have 5 reservoirs as well for my insulin to go into. I then have a little packet of glucotabs as well. Again, just so they're on hand, but I prefer the juice to these. That's why I have these here, and those ones in the bag I'll be pulling out. I have an extra clip for my pump because it's been known that when I go to hot countries, these things seem to melt and break, so I have a spare one. I then have another glucose monitor. This one here is for glucose and ketones actually, but the reason I take this one is to read my ketones, because the one I use regularly is this one, and this one will be to hand in a side pocket here as opposed to in this bag. This is the one I use all the time, every day, and so that one will be closer to hand. In this clear bag here, I have emergency kind of glucagon pens. I have emergency syringes just in case anything happens. I have insulin pens, so if anything happens to my pump, then I would go into my insulin pens. If anything happens to these insulin pens, something happens, the needles don't work, I have got syringes there just in case I need to take something out of the vial here. Thankfully, touch wood, I have never had to really resort back to this. Once, the very first holiday I went on when I had my insulin pump, I jumped in the swimming pool really stupidly, but I have had my pump now for 10 years and have not done that since, touch wood. So all of that goes in here, and this is my letter proving why I'm carrying all this stuff. It's a bit dishevelled because I spilled water on it or something, I can't remember. But I put that in there as well. But actually, do you know what? I usually put that in the front of this bit because then it's easier to be at hand. So if they say anything to me, I can pull that out, because I can't go through the scanners at the security bit like normal people do. Normal people, sorry, that sounds awful. People who aren't wearing an insulin pump. You can take the insulin pump off and go through the scanner, but your insulin pump cannot go through the magnetic X-ray machine. It can't do it. It will end up, there's a risk it will break. So for that reason, I usually always tell them I'm wearing one, and generally they'll just want to see my letter and let me walk through, and they'll do a pat down and they'll ask to see the pump. They swab the pump and then they check if I'm carrying cocaine or something like that. I think that's what they do. But otherwise, I've never really had any issues with that. People are usually very aware of it and it's absolutely fine. So this is my big bag of stuff that generally lots of people probably don't think about. And there's still loads and loads of room in this bag. So just a few other bits and pieces. This is the book that I'm currently reading. Lovely lady, my work gave me a little shot of this. It's very interesting actually. So I'm going to take this away with me, but I also normally buy a book when I'm at the airport. I quite like getting a holiday book. So I will pop this one in the back. I've got my purse with me. I always kind of just downsize my purse. So this is like a little mini one that I take on holidays. And I'll put that in there. And my watch, but that's really just there because I'm going to put it on in the morning before I go. Last thing I kind of really want to show you that will be going into my hand luggage is this little jewellery roll. Now I got this from Amazon and it is wonderful. Oh, it goes this way. So in here, I'll just zoom you in a wee bit. So in here, this has kind of 3 sections. This area here, there are 3 kind of clear zippy bits. I have a little necklace in there that I've never worn. It's still in the packet, so that's why it's in there. Some earrings that I've never worn and some bracelets just in here. It's kind of fell down the side, you can't see it. And this bit here is actually a big, massive bit underneath that, but I don't generally use it for anything. And then the first section is all earrings and rings. But look, it's a great little storage thing. It's just poppers, you pop them off. And then you can choose what you want to put on. Now, this is generally all costume jewellery. I don't generally take any very expensive jewellery with me for risk of losing it, to be honest with you. But generally, most of it's kind of gold-plated, so it keeps quite well. My little kind of stud earrings here as well. Again, I don't need all this jewellery to go with me on a week's worth of holiday. We'll not get through it all, but it's nice to have options, isn't it? And that zips up really nicely there. If I can find this jewellery roll or something really similar, I'll try and link it down below. It was definitely from Amazon. And then the last one here, it is all necklaces. So I'll just show you. So these ones are Zara, the Z or Z by Zara range here. And so this is really good because it has like a Velcro bit to keep them in place so they don't get all tangled, which is really nice. And then I just pop them in the little individual pockets here. This one is a little like mini dinosaur. It's really cute. I think I got that from Primark. It's not particularly expensive, but I just really liked the style of it. So that will go in there, and then my big kind of bamboo A there as well, so that will be grand. And then that just folds up nicely, and that will go in as well. So it slides in there really well. And the other one, I mean, there's loads of room in there still. I could fit loads and loads in it still. There's like all this extra room. This is a great little travel bag. Alrighty, so that was my kind of carry-on pack with me. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gives you an idea of what I generally have to take on holiday with me, out with kind of the normal stuff that you would usually take on a journey abroad. If you want to see what I've packed in my big hold bag, then there will be a link up here and you can see that too. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and please comment below and let me know what you take or what you think of the things that I am taking. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.